Hey everyone,
Hi.
welcome to Symphony's Walk with Grace. My camera tilted on me. Haha, there we go.
There you go.
So today we have kind of an interesting one that we're gonna do, and also wearing our new shirts. So,
Okay.
if you guys want one, got you covered. But Grace has brought something kind of nifty to the table today, quite literally, and we're gonna have some fun with that and expose some of my soul. So here we
go. True. We are, and we're going to do that through her birth chart, with astrology, which we've talked a little bit before. I don't know if that's been shared out yet, but anyway, astrology is really...
We've talked about it, but I don't think we've directly said too many connections.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, to me, when I first started looking at astrology, it blew me away. When I was younger, I used to think, oh yeah, whatever. I'm sure all that's happening out there, but I don't really care to know. But when I got older and I looked and really realized how true and accurate it is, so I kind of see your chart, what was happening in the sky when a person's born. It's like your soul signature. Okay. It's my belief that we're souls having a physical experience. And so that soul is eternal, and it was here before your earthly experience, and you will, that will still be there.
And there's definitely people that believe that the soul chooses who, when, and where to inhabit.
Yep.
I guess like I want that one to be my mom at this time, and then pop or maybe I've also heard people say that the itty bitty fetus is just kind of dormant and chilling there, and that's why there's no heartbeat, is because the soul hasn't chosen it yet, and then once the soul picks it, that's when it starts gaining a heartbeat. I've heard that one too, which I thought that was a neat perspective.
That's kind of a neat perspective,
because it's true. If you've ever had a kid, you're not going to hear the heartbeat at first because there's no heart yet. It's got to grow it.
Yeah.
But you've got this dormant fetus.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a weird way to put it, but anyway. So there's multiple variations of belief involving the soul, but that's not really what the goal is. So
but to me, what really makes it resonate, as a counselor, as a psychotherapist, some of the busiest times were around the full moons. That makes sense to me. It makes sense to any medical professional. Your ERs are full up on the full moon. What's happening? We're
scared to drive. I know that.
Where those energies, the pull that comes from the moon, it pulls on us too. We're 97, 99, however much percent water. So we know the moon affects the tides. Well, it's the same within our bodies. So, and if that's the moon, well, what about the sun? What about the constellations? What about the planets? We have 9 planets that circulate around us all the time. And so they pool and shift and ebb and flow. And so you have all these different energies kind of playing out all around you all the time. And specifically when you're born, it's like it anchors you to a set of energies that is going to resonate with you, that's going to push and pull and ebb and flow throughout your life. One of the beautiful things that I found when I started doing my deep dive with astrology is it can also really help you figure out or learn or understand better your purpose. Your soul, it's believed that your soul, or for some it's believed that your soul comes here for a purpose. That it's this thing that it wants to understand, experience, whatever. So, I mean, how many of us are trying to figure out our purpose? I'm I always thought I was supposed to be a counselor, and I was, and I am, and that's definitely, a piece and part of me. But when I looked at my chart, what I'm really supposed to do, my purpose is more geared toward my family. And I really struggled with that when I was working. I had my girls were growing up, and there was a lot going on, and I really had a hard time holding it together. And eventually, I've said before, I crashed and burned, and have slowly built my life back up. This time centered more around my family, and that seemed to be working. Well, then I look at my chart and I'm like, oh, well, no wonder. And wouldn't it have been grand if I'd have known that ahead of time? Because I might have done things, I know I would have done things a little differently, and maybe have been able to maintain both. Symphony has she's kind of my guinea pig. But while I was going through this and checking out all this astrology stuff, I mean, we're stacks of books. I mean, the amount of information within astrology is mind-boggling.
Truly.
Truly. And I love taking these deep dives, and I love to get in there and learn something, and I'm just, boom, that's all I want to do. But it was even a lot for me. So as I'm doing this, and I'm looking, I'm gathering information, and all my family members and a few friends of mine graciously let me go through their birth chart. And by the way, to me, looking at someone's birth chart, I take it very, very just like I did with my clients. I feel like I'm delving into someone's soul. And so when anybody allows me to kind of work with their birth chart, I tell them, thank you. And I don't find this to be fun and games. I find this to be, I'm going to be looking at parts of you
that you might not want someone to see.
I mean,
or you might be scared to know.
Yeah. So, so I take this very seriously. And I'm a Capricorn moon, if anybody understands, and we'll talk a little bit about the moon sign, but Capricorns are the most serious of all the signs.
She is also one of the best to have do this, though, in my opinion, because she's also non-judgmental. So that helps, because if you're going to expose your soul, you want to make sure that they're not like, well, this idiot. Yeah. Just want to let that out there.
Yep. And in my mind, it's all about being non-judgmental, because none of us are perfect, and I have my own issues, and we all do. We're all I like to say we're perfectly imperfect. But I always bring that to the table, whether I'm with Symphony, with clients, or whoever I'm with at the time. I try as best I can to remain as non-judgmental, because we do what we do based on our history, based on our beliefs, based on what we've been programmed, and based on our astrology charts. So, so I have found that I absolutely love working with this. And so as I'm doing this deep dive, I'm like, okay, I would love to share this stuff, but is there a way for me to share it that people can take in smaller chunks and is more meaningful to them? So I love to dive deep and then simplify. So I woke up one night and had this thought and idea of how to create something. So that's what I brought with me today. My hope is that maybe it'll be, kind of a tool for people, and someday maybe be out on the market. But for now, I'm practicing with it, playing around with it, tweaking it. And so Symphony's my guinea pig today.
Yep. So we're going to end this one as the introduction video. Yes. We're going to piece this very tediously, so if there's a specific thing that you want to try to go back and pull, you are able to do that.
You'll be able to.
So we're going to call this one, and we're going to start video number 2 for you, and we'll just continue on down and show you this neat little thing she made, because I really think it's cool. See you in a minute.